Right, so just a couple things to keep up to date on. Let's see, where were we? I'll just read them verbatim. Moral society. No society lives up to the standards of morality which that society strives for. Some societies fall further from the goal than others. It is the job of society to do everything within its power to approach its goal as quickly as possible. However, it is also necessary for less advanced societies to strive for the same goals. People will argue, therefore I've been privy to, that we are not in a position, no one ever could be, to tell people what is morally correct. This fails to acknowledge the power of reason. The one cornerstone required for all societies to exist harmoniously is respect for reason. Obviously, the current culture wars with the Middle East. Current culture wars with the Middle East fit into this framework. On both sides, people argue that we cannot dictate what is morally correct or incorrect. However, there needs to be a mutual adherence to the authority of reason, the result of which would be reaching agreed upon conclusions, the most obvious of which would likely be the rights of women. This is not to say that all our values are inherently superior. Our reliance on material things and loss of community require serious attention. Perhaps religion's biggest fault, if aliens visited us and told us we had to adhere to their advanced moral standards, many of us would revolt, much like ISIS may be considered to be doing. We would again, however, only be able to argue through logic and reason alone, and any points we cannot defend would have to be relinquished and replaced with ones with superior reasoning. Wave-particle duality. Perhaps wave-particle duality can be explained by waves/particles requiring a certain amount of energy to form/behave as a particle. Particles are more ordered, at least I believe so, and so require energy to exist in that ordered state. And that's all related to entropy, and order requires energy. Perhaps the energy threshold is only met when the wave is met with a high energy wave like light. Perhaps we could test this by observing in quotation marks the double slit experiment with varying intensity energy EM waves used to observe it. The higher the energy, the more the wave/particle behaves like a particle. So perhaps the reason they behave like waves when we're not observing them is because they are waves until they're given enough energy to be a particle. Basically, it requires energy to be a particle. In creating superior intelligent life, we will become gods. If their superintelligence causes them to effectively run life faster, the situation they end up in will be similar to the one religions find themselves in today. Presume, erroneously of course, for a second, that if that life really was created by an all-powerful, or at least self-proclaimed all-powerful God, the God instills its existing worldviews and morals, e.g. homosexuality being a sin, stoning apostates, etc. Then the God's creation, aka us, evolves and realizes many of the God's views were unjust and immoral. People have to correct their God. What if he did come back? What if the God that created us, there isn't one of course, but what if he was just, or he or she, or whatever it is, was just like we are prior to creating AGI? He simply created us better than himself, like we will do with AGI, allowing us to progress at a faster rate than himself. Using the everyday for us is the same as a year for AGI due to processing power idea. We should assume a similar real-life scenario will occur to us. We will teach it all we know. It will improve upon this seemingly instantaneously, and we will have to adjust. Of course, we won't be able to keep up. What if God only created the universe yesterday from his perspective and intends to revisit when he wakes up, which is 1,000 years from now, to us? Just to clarify, I don't believe in a God. I think it's pretty stupid, but just saying. There are a lot of parallels we can draw them. This goes further actually. Let's see. Hang on. So, what if... we will even have the opportunity... We are on the verge of becoming a god. We will even have the opportunity to create heaven and hell. So basically, when we create AGI, we'll become a truly superior AGI, will become inferior, and I said before that our only role would be as pets, effectively. But I think what we can do is, if we're able to simulate realities at this time, then we can create a kind of efficient heaven for ourselves, a simulated heaven for all the humans that are around, and that'll be our prize, and kind of will allow the AGI to continue our legacy in the real world. But we can just run a simulation of being in heaven, just because that's the kind of what we get for being the people that created the AGI. Anyway, and we also get to decide who gets to go there, but obviously everyone should go there. Yeah. And whether it's, a heaven for each person, and all the people in it are simulated, or whether we're all existing in the same one, or we get to choose who's with us or something. Yeah, it's all semantics. There'll be no need for a hell, of course. Yeah.